What's going on, casters? Dylan from Pandito Gaming, and here today I'm going to give you a rant. I'm here to talk about something that I hear all the time. I've heard multiple people say things like this, both in Elestrals and in Pokemon, and it's something that just kind of frustrates me at times because it's easy to say without any evidence, but to argue against it, you have to have significant evidence to back it up. Otherwise, people will just kind of swipe it to the side and ignore you. Now, before I get into this, nothing I say is meant to inflame or, tarnish anybody's opinions. I'm just simply trying to show evidence that explains a counter argument to something I hear all the time, where a lot of people just aren't interested in hearing the other side of the conversation. So, what is the conversation? The statement that I hear a lot is a lot of the sealed product in Elestrals is not valuable because it is just sitting in people's closets and people are just choosing not to do anything about it yet. And one day, somebody's going to decide to dump a ton of product on the market all at once, and everything that people say is valuable today and has a certain value is not going to be worth it long term. Specifically, what we're going to be talking about today is Shattered Stars as an example. I mentioned to several people over the last few weeks, like, hey, I think if you can find Shattered Stars and pay $20 or $30 for a bundle, that's an absolute steal. That you will not probably find anybody willing to sell it for that. And in my opinion, there probably aren't even that many people who have more than one bundle left, if any at all. Most people opened everything that they had because of the value that was in the set, and the people who did keep it probably only have one, maybe two packs, maybe one single bundle that they set to the side just as a collector's piece. But if you wanted to go and buy, say, one of each bundle, or several, like actually go hunt one of the cards that's missing, I think you'd be looking to pay somewhere on the order of 30, 40, maybe even $50 a bundle because of how rare these things have actually gotten. So let me actually go through my logic here, the information that I have, and you can decide for yourself whether you agree with me or whether you do think that there's just tons of these sitting around places that people just aren't going to sell until somebody goes out and says, "Hey, I'll give you 25 bucks for that." Um, so right here, we have an image of one of the master cases that the original Shattered Stars came in. And I apologize, my face is in the way here. Let me move it. You can see this here is for the Lunar chapter from Shattered Stars 1. This was the month 8 pack. And you can see that this master case held 132 bundles. So that's 4 of the 33 bundle sets. And this in particular, which I will need to scroll down for you to see this, and then move my head again, is a box of 38 total that were created. So the implication here is that there were 38 boxes, each holding 132 bundles in them. So doing some quick math, that roughly gives you about 5,000 bundles total, 5,016. So that would correspond to roughly 15,000 total packs, which would mean your chances for an X out of 99 would be roughly 1 out of 150, and your chances for an X out of 10 would be roughly 1 out of 1,500. So that kind of tells you the original print run for these. Now, there's not officially published numbers to verify this. This has been confirmed by some of the people shipping these that's how many they got. There have been multiple instances of the original Shattered Stars 1 having these numbers on them. So we know exact numbers for most of the Shattered Stars 1 sets. We know as well that a lot of the Shattered Stars 2 print runs were adjusted over time, but initially they came in somewhere just above this number. So not significantly higher, but more than this. I believe the Celebration set was the most printed that I'm aware of from Shattered Stars 1, pushing somewhere around like 17 or 18,000 packs. I have the exact number. I just didn't look it up before doing this. Bad YouTuber, I get it. But yeah, so if we know that the exact number of packs that were produced for this is around 15,000, we can go and look at our Stellar registries and see what that means in terms of how many packs are open. Now, the Stellar registry and how many Stellars have been registered is not an exact percentage of packs that have been opened, but it gives you a floor, assuming proper averages. Now, it's possible some of these cards were grouped or clumped together, that they were manufacturing issues where, one person opened up 4x out of 10s in one batch of cards. But I think you'll see as we go through this that the numbers are so consistent, it's probably fairly accurate, to be honest. So this goes in reverse chronological order, but you can see from Celebration, we had 75% of the X out of 10s, and somewhere around 65-70% of the X out of 99s were pulled. From Lunar, you got 60% of the X out of 99s, 70% of the X out of 10s. From Solar, 65% and 80%, 60% and 60%, 53 and 80%, somewhere close to 60 and 70%. Frost is kind of an outlier. I think because the X out of 10 was reprinted, and unless you have a video recording of yourself opening it, you weren't going to be able to register it. I think that really affected some of the opening and the numbers there. But you can see this consistent, somewhere between 55 to 80% of Shattered Stars 1 Stellars have been registered. And that's very consistent across every set except for Frost, which is a little weird. But there's really big numbers there. And something to keep in mind is that the majority of people assume, if you get a Stellar, you're going to register it. I can tell you from personal experience, because I'm mostly a seller, I don't register all of my Stellars until I let whoever buys it from me register it for themselves. Because I don't, I like people to have the experience of being the first person to register a Stellar. Personally, I have registered some Stellars, but it's mostly the ones that I either pull myself or I am actively just wanting to keep long term. It just kind of depends. But lots of people, especially if they're just regular people, just buying these who haven't interacted with Elestrals before, who don't even know that a Stellar registry exists, may not be logging these things. A good example of why I think these numbers are off, you can see with Vertilith. A Drive personally pulled, I think, 17 of these. So the numbers here are skewed significantly. And it is, if I remember correctly, the second or the most registered X out of 99 in all of Shattered Stars. Just looking through this, it is the most registered Stellar, the most registered X out of 99 in every single Shattered Stars set. And that's ridiculous, right? Like, that's because A Drive was the one who was opening it, and he registered his Stellars. So when the rate of Stellar registry is higher because somebody opened up so much of it himself that he registered a bunch of his own, you can see these numbers go up. So what is the actual rate? Do I think that because this is, let's look at Lunar as the main example, that 70% of the X out of 10s and 60% of the X out of 99s, should those actually be inflated to like 75 or 80%? Maybe. I think that would be pretty reasonable. That might even be a little conservative. It's possible that 85 or 90% of these packs have been opened. But let's take that at face value. Let's say that only 60%, 59, 60%, everybody registered the Drakid when they pulled it. There's not a single person who didn't. The implication there would be that we'd have roughly 40% of 15,000 total packs that have not been opened. That would mean roughly 6,000 packs or 2,000 bundles are sitting out there, just out there. Somebody owns them. Either one person is sitting on a lot of them, or a whole bunch of people just have one or two individual bundles. Now, to my theory before, I do think there are a lot of people who picked up a bundle or picked up 33 bundles and set one bundle to the side and said, I'm going to hold on to this. Even if that number is only 2, 3, 400 people, that dramatically reduces how many of these can be out there. And if I'm correct, and a lot of people aren't registering Stellars, and this 59 is actually supposed to be a 75 or an 80% of bundles of Stellars are registered, then we're actually looking at closer to maybe uh, roughly 1,000 bundles sitting out there that have not been opened. And that's hard to quantify, but we don't know because of odds and stuff like that. There's no official way to know. But even if there's only 1,000 bundles out there, if two, three, 400 people are sitting on just one of them, what's the likelihood they're ever going to give them up? How much money are you going to have to offer to convince 30 people to sell you these bundles to be able to open a whole bunch and hope to get one of the X out of 99s? Or if you're crazy and try to get one of the X out of 10s, it just takes one person to want to do something like that for this whole market to be completely destroyed and all of these packs that people are sitting on potentially to disappear. If there is somebody who's sitting on these and is just, they bought 500 of these or 200 of these, I'd love to see them step forward, right? And I would love to ask them, why aren't you selling them? What would make you sell them? And if they decide, I'm not ever going to sell them, then that's the same as them already having been opened, right? So, to all the people out there who think like these packs should never sell for more than 25 or $30 for a bundle, I don't personally agree. I think these are so rare. No one is selling them on the market. If you look at TCG Player, there have not been listings for these in over a year. If you look on eBay, I think there's one bundle of one set from Shattered Stars ones that's out there. And I honestly think this same pattern is going to happen again with Shattered Stars 2. I don't see a ton of people setting 40, 50, 100 of these to the side. And even if they do, the return on buying them at 12.50 during the SS BOGO sale and just selling them at 25 or $30 over the next year or two is such a good return. Why wouldn't you do that? I don't think lots of people are going to be holding these, and in 2 or 3, 5 years, would people be willing to pay $10 a pack, $20 a pack for a Shattered Stars 1 just because they're so insanely rare? I think that's fairly reasonable, to be honest. But I want to hear your opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think there's hundreds of these packs sitting in people's closets somewhere? Do you think these are rare and they're worth, 10, 15, $20 a pack, $50 a bundle? Or do you think I'm just crazy? Let me know. Leave a comment. Thanks for listening, guys. That's it.